So we're going to look at rationalizing the denominator. This is a process that you need to do when you have a radical in the denominator of your fraction. And you're allowed to do it because if you multiply a fraction by 1, it does not change the value. Any expression divided by itself is always equal to 1. So think about any number you have, like 2 divided by 2, 3 divided by 3, so on. It's always going to reduce down to 1. And so that's why you are allowed to do this process. And so to get rid of a radical in the denominator, you simply multiply the numerator and denominator by that radical that's in the denominator. Okay, so let's go over a couple examples for those. And so the ones that we're going to be doing in geometry, you only will have either a radical of the square root of 2 or square root of 3, because we're looking at these with our special right triangles. And so for this one here, we have square root of 2 in our denominator. We want to not have that. And so what we can do is take that square root and multiply it to the numerator and denominator of our fraction. So in the numerator, we end up with 3 times the square root of 2. We cannot multiply those together. Oops, that should be 2. You just want to leave those like that. They're not like terms. So you cannot combine them. And then in the denominator, we end up with square root of 2 times square root of 2 is the square root of 4. And then you should be able to take the square root of 4, which is 2. And so that is the simplified form, not having a radical in your denominator. Let's do one more example. And so here we have 5 divided by the square root of 3. So again, we're going to take that square root of 3. We're going to multiply numerator and denominator by that square root. Again, in the numerator, we can't combine these other than saying it's 5 times square root of 3. You just leave it just like that. In the denominator, we can multiply these together. So square root of 3 times square root of 3 becomes the square root of 9. And your numerator does not change. Your denominator, you take that square root, and that should be your final answer. So again, you're going to need that for some of the problems as you're working through with your special right triangles. If you end up with a radical in the denominator, make sure you do rationalize it for your final answer.